What are you talking about?
Just to make things utterly, completely awkward,
Okay, I gotta go to put cream on my something. Okay, that's lovely.
Well, considering that they got what's the face now? Is it Natalie Dormer?
Yeah, they got Natalie Dormer.
I mean, if the thing that is kind of interesting about her, well, I just don't understand it. Like that they're already showcasing off all the little things that you naturally find out in like you're supposed to play the game, like with Rex and the genophage and Garrus with his father and things like that. And they're already showing these things off in some of the trailers. It's like, no, let me find out this information by myself. Don't tell me, because then you just kind of go, well, that sorry doctor's obviously got a thing for the Krogan. It's like, oh, brilliant, thanks for that. That might have been something interesting to witness or something like that. Oh well.
Well, the fact they got Natalie Dormer still makes me a little concerned. Sure, she's a talented voice or actress in general, I'm sure, but I don't know if the accent works well with the Asari. I don't recall a British Asari before. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe she knows how to tone it down. I don't know. It just doesn't. I'm like, why would you need a British actress? Like with the what was her name, Yvonne Strahovski? I mean, she still had the accent. She could speak without it, but they told her not to. So fine, great. She's a human. She grew up somewhere that, in that condition with those people. Great, cool, understood. But the Asari, a whole alien species that can, that no one really knows too much about aside from their all-female credentials and lives thousands of years. I mean, where did they spend time on Earth? Where did this accent come from?
Well, maybe when you turn off like the what you call now, the universal translator, they'll kind of go, "Oh, Jimmy, why, baby, Jeffers?" Like they're all cockneys from like Dick Van Dyke's, like
they're all cocked. It's Zaid everywhere.
I know. It's like they're all from like Mary Poppins, and like as soon as everyone turns away, everyone in Fessio just starts dancing on roofs. Like...
Oh dear.
I love that. That's just
okay. Let's actually get going here because we've just been rambling. So anyway, hi guys. Wow, lots of information came out on the wonderful world of BioWare this week. Let's see. There was the original Profile Squad trailer, which became was the companion trailer. What the hell did they call it? They titled it wrong, and I was even confused. What the hell?
Yeah, they called it Characters Trailer.
Characters trailer.
Character trailer. It's like showcasing off weapons and abilities. It's like, that's kind of in character. Setting people on fire, I suppose, is very much in character with Mass Effect.
Right. I was a little like, okay, that's different. Then they renamed it the Combat Profiles and Squads trailer. Then they had the Natalie Dormer mini interview, which is, I mean, it's Natalie Dormer. You can't say she's a bad actress. I always having a problem with her accent. Do Asaris actually come from a certain part of, was it Thessia, that has certain dialects? Maybe. Would be nice to know. So hopefully they'll talk about her accent, or Australia, or I don't know, something we can make sense of that. Then there was was it the weapon video? It was on the website though, right?
Yeah, that was on the one of the Pathfinder introductory videos, which always confuses me whenever I always hear it. It's like you keep saying, "Oh yeah," so I can look on the main website at the main YouTube. It's not like it's not there. It's like, no, it's on this. Like, oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, it was with Liam Costin. He's like showing off guns, and I was thinking, is this like a simulator? Are we in like the holodeck? Is it real guns? Because when you first see him, there's this table. There's just guns on the table, and you're like, oh, where the hell are you? And then this guy comes out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, this has to be a simulator. But I couldn't quite grasp what was going on in that trailer, aside from him rambling on about how awesome guns are. And I'm like, okay, it's fair. Of course, what we were shown made no sense to the lore that we already established. And, he's talking about, space is limited and, resources are scarce. And you're like, well, you had this wonderful technology about, I don't know, 3 years ago, or sorry, 633, or however long it took to get there, that gave you infinite rounds, and you just had to wait 2 seconds for your gun to cool down so you could refire again. But no, they have to procure alien resources to create guns with ammo now. Something the Mass Effect universe has never had. It's never had ammo. It has had heat sinks, which technically work like ammo, even though it's not what is ammo. And then it had like the one-shot guns or what have you, but those were all like heavy weapon. Who knows what heavy weapon ammo is anyway? It's one of those universal nonsense things that you could stick into any heavy weapon and it works, as opposed to heat sinks, even though they were supposed to be universal invisible war style weapon or ammo system. But apparently that didn't work too well in gameplay when I was on a collector ship and I was running out of rounds in my SMG, but my assault rifle is no problem. Like what? Why can't I just pop these out? I don't know.
Well, it's like, where did these things actually come from? Because you look at the size of them when Shepard like slaps the side of the weapon and this big like glowing orb. It's like, how many of those you got in there? Is it like a TARDIS?
It just keeps popping out. You just keep ramming the side of the gun, and all these red coils just keep popping out of the damn thing.
So I can understand why they wanted to do a kind of like you insert another one, but then it's like, why didn't you just go back? I mean, did these people honestly look at friction materials and kind of go, well, people can't grip them anymore now, so we can't stick them in the weapon?
If you don't coat the whole damn gun with frictionless material,
yeah, it's like,
just the barrel.
Yeah, all the weapons that they upgraded with frictionless materials, what happened to them? They all slid away.
we lost the manufacturing process as soon as we put the indestructible object in there with the frictionless material just went exploding.
Yeah, like, we wanted a gun that shot another gun, and it didn't work out that well.
The worst part of the thing was the lightning shells. I was like, okay, you have a shotgun that first it's like the katana. Katana is the very basic shotgun. Cool, right? And then it pops the top, and you're like, okay, fine, pops the top. I guess you put ammo into the barrel of the gun. I don't know. That sounds stupid, but fine. Not like as opposed to popping the bat or the bottom of the gun where the whole barrel just comes off, and then you would load a shotgun the normal way. This is near the top of the gun, near the muzzle. Fine, whatever. So then you load like, I don't know, 7 or 8 shells in there. Shells for a laser upgrade, which I don't know what shells and lasers have to do with each other. And I think you were contemplating maybe it's a battery or something. And I'm like, I have no freaking
It's a bunch of D-cell batteries.
Little flashlight.
Yeah, it's like you just want like sponsored by Duracell on like the side of the weapon, like, because I think that's actually one of the things that because all this is supposed to be privately funded, right?
Who knows? I mean,
because
who would...
they do say it's privately funded, so I got the idea that they were kind of forced to utilize certain weapons that made no sense because of due to sponsorship issues.
Yeah. I wish I could make sense of why we're going, how we're going, what's the point of going. Like, there's nothing to explain aside from, oh wow, look, let's explore. It's like, listen, we have the entire rest of the galaxy, 99 point whatever % of the galaxy to check out. Why don't we go 600,000 light years away? Like, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Yeah. Have you read some of the profiles that they have on the website? You know, the famous quotes over people that you know nothing of.
Oh God, why would I do that?
It's really PB's is absolutely hilarious to me because PB's like, oh yeah, the Milky Way, so been there, done that, and even if I haven't done it, it's like someone else has. It's like you're going to the Helios cluster, you found something called remnant. Somebody somewhere has already done the stuff that you've already done. Your logic completely falls apart. Just because somebody has traveled to Mount Everest doesn't mean that you kind of go, well, we don't go there again. No, you go there and you perfect the technique. You do something different.
Well, again, if the whole problem is to find a new habitat for humanity, well,
that pisses me off. Humanity, 20,000 people.
Or sorry, not just humanity and everyone else. It's like, well, listen, there's plenty of places throughout your galaxy that have not been discovered yet. That's a pretty good thing to go for if the problem is expanding or learning or whatever the hell the plan is. Lots of options throughout the known galaxy, let alone the unknown galaxy. So go for it. Lots of scary, nasty dangers out there you've never seen before. And you're not too far away from home. You're going to be maybe a year's travel. Who knows? You go really far. 2 years. All right, you're really far away. You're not stranding yourself in the middle of God knows what. And you don't have to build a gigantic fake half quarter done station for God knows what purpose. How about discovering how the relays work? There's a pretty good enterprise. Just start asking the council, hey, can we start building these things? Why not? Start opening up new avenues of travel. I think that'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah, because no one really seems to care. The only people who actually managed to unlock those or just about unlock those was the Protheans, and they kind of died out. So I guess it's a bit of a dead end, really. It's like, what? No, you have a working prototype right there on Ilos, you fools.
Oh, it lost power. Oh.
Oh, they had that whole. Oh, we lost power to. What is it the bit now when they're talking Mass Effect 2 about Saren? When it's like the Geth built this big giant space dreadnought, and then Saren managed to convince it was a god to them, so that's how he managed to. You people are retards. It's like, the whole. I know we're talking about Mass Effect 2 there, but like, it's like no wonder. I think this sounds like almost like King George level of madness. It's like, I want to go to Andromeda. It's like, okay, sir.
Okay, my liege, we'll get right on that. But right now, our plebeians are starving.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if they could build all like this technology and all this fancy stuff, like with the whole like they've solved the whole static charge that builds upon FTL. It's like, why couldn't you go to Ilos then? That kind of completely undermines Mass Effect 1 if they've already had the technology. If this technology has been in development for quite some time, and the reason why Ilos was so touchy was because of what do you call it now? It was too dangerous because it was too far away because there was no mass relay there.
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to remember all the stuff that they could have done with the basis that was the basis for Mass Effect 1 and where it left things was so beautiful. You just, okay, we can go in any direction. We have all this freedom. Obviously, you have to continue with the story of Shepard. Great. Okay, cool. Where do you go? I know. Let's fight an ersatz creature that the Reapers just happen to control, and it just happens to be the Protheans, and they just happen to be taking humans because humans are like. Why are humans important? Does anyone know? Still, genetics. No.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's still the whole like. I think that's one of the reasons why the fans, if you notice, on the people who are trying to go on with Mass Effect Andromeda, I think they're still trying to possibly revive the whole dark energy thing plot that was completely dropped. Since halfway through Mass Effect 2.
Yes, when you have a bad writing team when they can't agree with what the hell the story is going to be, so they'll just start throwing subplots out there.
Oh, this was something. Apparently, Drew actually was called in for Andromeda.
No way.
I think so. Yeah, I think he actually came back for it because like they've lost a lot of people. Apparently, they lost the lead writer, and yeah, I think this one was dated 2012 though, so I'm not too sure.
Okay, well that's kind of I can't. I'm gonna have to find that out, but that's kind of weird. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, so Natalie Dormer, that was the wonderful video that was also showcased this week. And in case you don't know, her name is Lexi Tapero, and Lexi is somewhat of I guess, an Italian name, sort of, I guess. But Tapero is Spanish for dog, so she's essentially Lexi the dog, which is not the worst name in the world for a doctor, I suppose, but hopefully someone would ever notice these simple language differences or words and think, yeah, that's probably not the best way to go about naming your alien doctor person who's potentially wise and old and hundreds of years old. And it's names could drive me a bit crazy, especially when they just start making them up for no reason.
Well, you mentioned accents. I've forgotten the voice actress who did Matriarch Benezia, but she was Deanna Troy off of TNG.
Marina
Wasn't she?
Sirtis, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she has that kind of. But yeah, I would associate that like with as you get older, like you become a lot more refined and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right. That's when you hear Shore Agudashlu, who's the Admiral Ron, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. She was, she had very, very dry, harsh voice. But that's because she
I liked her.
smoked. Oh, she was great. She smoked all her life. So she has this really dry
T-Dog the dog.
voice. And she talks like this. And she tries to enunciate and she can't really do it too well. But yeah, she's a great actress. And
Fit the
and
Aquarian theme as well.
if you're quarrying and you're in a suit and you're breathing through a defibrillator or whatever the hell those suits are made of, then okay, fine. I'm like, that makes total sense. We can do that. And then you have, well, the problem with the Quarians where you just slap anyone in a suit and they typically sound okay, even though they got actresses from all over the place. Like, British guy, was it Simon Templeton or whatever, the guy who plays Logain in Dragon Age?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you could sort of get away with that, fine. But the Asari, no. The Asari, you could see them. They can freaking go into space with a breather, as if pressure doesn't affect their skin or.
It's
or
not like
anything.
the liquid's going to evaporate off their eyes or anything like that.
No, it's like their skin's going to expand or like that. So it's kind of, you have to really explain how this Asari or how the
Mass Effect
Asari,
fields.
how they have an Australian or a British accent. I don't.
You just imagine like turning to Liara and like her head's like like really puffed out. It's like, you're okay there, Liara?
How's the pressure on Mars? Oh, we're totally fine. Yeah.
Did you eat a peanut or something?
Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, and we were also talking about where the hell the demo is. Like, we have all these video reveals, kind of similar to how, actually no, not similar to how Mass Effect 2 did it. Mass Effect 2 had a series of videos in very specific order, within several days of each other, of all the character reveals. That was like weeks going into the release or the launch. So it was it was very well. Well, there was also the character classes. You're right. So it was very well structured. And this, I don't know, I wouldn't call it structured. I think they're just sort of throwing stuff out there. And the teaser trailer, I'll give it some leeway because it's a teaser trailer in the beginning last year. It's like, fine, okay, you can't show too much. But then the story trailer and then all these weird initiative, like, join the initiative, we do this and that, and we'll reserve a space for you on this Tempest thing because, it's got hallways that are state of the art and we have this big captain's quarters. And you're like, okay.
We have limited space, but your captain's quarters, on the other hand, is absolutely gigantic. I mean, whoo! If you can get up to captain status, which, by the way, is the captain also the Pathfinder? Because I mean, you don't want your guy in charge of the spaceship going down on the. I mean, this isn't Star Trek here.
Yeah, that's another thing to think about is if you're the Pathfinder, wouldn't the captain stay on the ship?
Yeah,
and
like,
wouldn't
this
the
would actually make a lot
XO?
more sense. Yeah, like if they would have done it like in a kind of, okay, you're the Pathfinder and you're doing all these kind of things, and then you've still got someone to answer to because you're still technically on like a probation period or trial period or whatever. Like, whatever, you could pull anything out of the bum at this rate, but it's something like that, someone to watch over you and guide you, and kind of like a more hands-on Captain Anderson, I think would be a lot more helpful, really.
That would have been good. Yeah. Well, I think they might be duplicating the whole Captain Anderson and then your dad going away for some reason, which they can't reveal, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and then, because your dad's gone, now you have to be in charge. And the only conclusion we could ever think of is that there's an implant in your brain, and because your dad made it, or your mom and dad made this AI, this illegal AI, that can turn you into Superman, therefore you're in charge. So it's like, but everyone else has the implant as well, so you're special that way because.
Well, yeah, how does that implant work? Because with Edie, it was all done through. She had to remain within light beam range, and so you've got one on the Ark, you've got one on the Tempest. So that's mean that is there multiple SAM variants? Because this is how AI works. They're not Geth.
Oh God, who the hell knows?
Yeah, because that means that the Tempest has to be flying around above you at all times with a constant down feed. And as soon as, like, say, a rock gets in the way, it's like, light beams away, and the SAM just goes like, doo, or everything just gets switched off.
It can't be flying because if you as soon as you land on a planet, you land on a planet, and then you're with your little dune buggy. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't know.
Speaking about the weapons and things, it would have been, I don't know, interesting if, let's say, when the Hyperion eventually crashes, at least they didn't call it the Icarus. That's always a good thing. Like, oh, it's your the Icarus. Yeah, shut up. And they went like, okay, something's happened on this world, and our weapons are basically fused together. We're gonna have to like salvage and remodify to make them work in some capacity. I'd be like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of fine. Some techno babble reason is making the work, and then you're retrofitting Helios cluster based remnant technology onto your weapons. So you're like, okay, that's why you can shoot lightning and laser weapons out of your guns and things.
Yeah, it sounds like Half-Life 2, where that machine sucks up your gun and it spits out this gravity thing. And you're like, what the
Yeah.
hell? How does this thing work? That would have been a neat explanation of how the hell or why the hell we have to suddenly use ammo for whatever, however bullshit sci-fi they can come up with to explain that. Great, cool. So now your guns can work better, or can only work with these resources you've mined, or it's modified your tech, and element zero works differently here. Whatever, fine. You got to explain all this lore changes of why we're downgrading our guns into not having infinite ammo anymore again, and not having heat sinks again, because you can't just start changing guns on the fly and just, oh yeah, the Geth invented a new technique for firing faster. So
Well, it's one of the episodes of Stargate where they're trying to capture one of the goals. I think it was Apophis, and they're trying to fire it, and he just basically activates a shield, and all the bullets just basically ricochet off, and just like But then they realize that a slower firing weapon can actually still go through it. So, like, if let's say you're encountering the Ket, let's say their shield technology is really super awesome, and their mass driver weaponry just doesn't work against them, so they have to remodify it. They're just adapting to the new. Something like that I would be absolutely okay with, because you're analyzing the enemy, you're seeing what the defenses have, then you're building a weapon system capable of defeating their defenses.
right, but that would explain the existence of why you need melee weapons. But
Yeah.
really, what's going to be better than a melee weapon aside from this gun that I could put next to your skull and pull the trigger where your barriers do dick all? It just blows you away. Like, I sort of understood the swords in Mass Effect 3 because you're a ninja and that looks cool, and it's a slow moving weapon, like fine. But if you're getting that close and I have a pistol, you're dead. How are you going to block that? How are you going to stop that? There's no, your armor, okay, 1, 2, you're dead, as opposed to 1.
Yeah.
It's still the best tool in the galaxy to stop things. So why am I carrying this gigantic hammer that only Krogans can wield? I don't know. Why do I need a sword from the Asari? I mean, what? Why do we have an Asari sword? Are they better than normal swords? Are they lighter because they come from Thessia? I don't know. It's conduct electricity. I don't know. A shiv. We didn't even know what the shiv looks like. But apparently people have been playing too much Battlefield, so I guess they're collecting dog tags while they're shivving people. I don't know. What do we need a shiv for? Maybe if it was like your Omniblade could launch that holographic real blade thing, and it doesn't register as a physical object, and it can pass shields or some bullshit like that. that might be okay. Holographic projection something thing. Couldn't tell you. I'm just making stuff up at this point. So who knows? Okay, so there was after all the after actually before the weapon trailer video, there was all these videos and reports from the gaming press who either were set up, I think in Europe, I can't remember the name, was some part of, was it Great Britain or the UK that they set this up and people went to? I don't know. But they were sites like IGN, GameSpot, there was RPG Site, there was a few of those Mass Effect fans on YouTube who got invited. So they got a chance to sit down for 4 hours roughly and play. Apparently, it's the full game. I was told it was the full game, or I heard it was the full game that had a few bugs of Mass Effect Andromeda. It was the first few hours, and they loaded a save game, and then you played like somewhere in the middle, so you could play with your squad. And people were reporting on this. I think it was like 2 days ago they did this. So it took like a day or so to post the video and post the news report. Within 24 hours of all the hype, oh, this is great, it can be a great game, and there's like, of course, all the flaws they mentioned. Within 24 hours, the game has gone gold. Now, I don't know too much about setting up a computer room for a gaming testing press release. I don't know. I've done hardware setups before. You image your game across all the boxes in a network, and an ad hoc network, and you set it up, and everything's like identically hardware and software wise. Everything's great. And if you're just here to show it to the gaming press, you're there to really impress them. So when they have reports of the game being very, very, very buggy, of the game crashing in multiple ways, of having really bad visual glitches, sometimes when the dialogue screens actually freeze because the dialogue didn't load, and you can't do anything because you're waiting for this process on the machine to go, and you have to reboot. When they say stuff like the code is not done yet, or the devs looking over your shoulder going, ooh, that's weird, that raises a few red flags. And for another reporter to say that the models of the human models, at least, of the two protagonists were looked like quality of The Sims 3. And by Sims 3, that's a 7 or 8 year old game. That's a little strange for them to be focusing on stuff, on everything else except for the protagonists and their facial animations, which is pretty much, I mean, doing human facial animation is the staple of Mass Effect since it started. That was the thing that made Mass Effect on the map. It was full facial animations with lip sync, fully voiced with the dialogue system, and they couldn't get that working right. They got the aliens working great, but not the humans for some strange reason. This raises a few red flags. It should. Of course, all the fans don't care. Oh, it's been fixed. This was an older build. Okay, sure. I bet there's still going to be a day one patch, as most games these days seem to do that. How big that patch is going to be, we don't know, but it's not sounding too great. So it's fine if you're optimistic. I'm sure some of the people listening are going to get it just for the sake of trying it out. I say wait. Give it a month. Give it 2 months. Give it 3. Wait for the DLC to come out. You know there's going to be DLC. Wait for multiplayer to be balanced, because we haven't seen any multiplayer at all. We haven't seen any balancing. So yeah, it's a little strange to hear that it went gold yesterday, despite all these reports of bugs happening. I don't know what they're going to do with bug testing till now, but it does not sound good. Let me go finally to the chat and see what's going on here with you guys. Oh, a bunch of people chatting here. Day one. I don't think they're going to release day one patches DLC. That doesn't sound right. That would be strange. Multiplayer. Yeah, I heard a lot of people that they like the mechanics. They like the focus on gameplay. Why not? It's multiplayer. People loved Mass Effect 3 for the multiplayer. Hey, great. More power to you. It seems fun. Good for you. Good stuff. Well, there was a beta setup. Actually, I remember that, but I didn't hear anyone I knew that got into it, so it must have been pretty popular. We don't know much about the AI, no. We don't know what's going on with how sophisticated it is. From what we saw, the trailer, that giant creature that was running around as Mac Walters was explaining the system. Didn't seem too smart. Didn't seem like much of a challenge. Just running around, sort of grunting a lot. The texture of Grover. Oh dear. I don't know if that's an improvement or considering the levels of comedy you can do with customization, with makeup and skin tone and cheeks. And I wouldn't be surprised if you can do crazy stuff again. Although I would be curious how that would affect your father, because if you change the way you look, it inversely affects what your dad looks like. The whole gold make, yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to get that, not the pre-release, but the deluxe edition, so you get all those experience points with an exclusive yellow paint job on your dune buggy there. Alan Wake, that was not part of my list. I have a list of things I'm going to be doing analyses of, and Alan Wake was not part of it. I haven't actually played Alan Wake yet, so I can't say. No, I'm not going to get the game. I will be watching just videos on YouTube. I'm sure there's going to be dozens of people having a Let's Play that I'll just look through, and I'll just watch it like I would watch like binge watching Netflix or something like that.
Ooh, I'm back.
Oh, hey. Yeah, you know what? I have a few friends who recommended I check out Mankind Divided. It was wasn't controversial, but it wasn't quite what everyone wanted. It definitely was not what Square Enix wanted in terms of sales, at least. So, and I do like the was it the Eidos? Yeah, the Eidos Montreal guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
they seem pretty.
Montreal.
Yeah, so I'll eventually, probably next month, if I have time, I'll check it out. Yeah, I actually do need a new chair to enjoy my computerisms. Hey guys. Yeah, so I was just listening to the chat people, but yeah, I was rambling on about how it went
You've
gold.
been talking to the peasants?
Yes, of course.
Good Lord, man, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of sad about that. Deus Ex was never a bad game. It was never a bad production. It was glitchy. It had some very interesting gameplay. I like the pathing. I love the choices, and of course, Elias Tefexis was fantastic. So yeah, no, I'm really sad about that. And I know this was supposed to be a live stream of Proper Bloke. He didn't manage to get up, or not get up, but he has other things that popped in. Proper Bloke is a I was gonna say he is one of those very, very few fans of Mass Effect who you can actually talk to and have a conversation with. And he is, he'll do reasonable conversation. He will post videos which are critical. Obviously, he's a fan. He's excited for the game, but he's not like those other guys on YouTube, which I will not name, that are just pure fanboy. So they actually have
25 minutes of, oh my God, all the things that you have missed in this 2-minute trailer.
Yeah,
Because we go into detail over this one texture. We look it upside down. The word says V, which means Vasari. Could they be a variant of the Vasari? A variant Vasari, V,
Yeah, I can't stand those videos. I don't know who makes them anymore. I was trying to watch one this morning, and it was just a fanboy gushing about what might be, and I'm like, oh, that's not useful at all. I could speculate for hours on the color of a car, but I'm not gonna, do that because it's silly. Yes, I know. Why wouldn't you buy? I mean, it has a female Turian and she's tall. I mean,
it sounds more like a diversity checklist, doesn't it?
I don't know who that's for. You could have
the human pilot, so you now have a Solarian. Okay.
I think BioWare is like, oh, people want a Turian squad mate who's female. And you're like, why? What purpose would that serve? Especially in this story where it's a human imperative and you play as a human on a supposedly all human team. Yeah, we have aliens on our human mission. Wouldn't this have been a brilliant idea for Cerberus? Just to, it's a human first mission, and we sort of like, oh, well, we need money, so we'll get the Asari and we'll get Solarians and everyone else, and we'll build this human mission because we know the Reapers are coming, so we're going to do it all ourselves, but we'll never tell them that it's not about them. Wouldn't that have just been totally understandable? Like, yeah, Cerberus. Now, obviously, Cerberus is a little stupid and crazy, and they became the Empire in Mass Effect 3, but they were fooling around with cloning. They do all these crazy experiments. This would be in their line of, this would be their modus operandi to do crazy stunts like this, to go off to another galaxy for the sake of humanity. This would be the kind of mentality that would do it. At least I think. I know maybe I'm being a little theoretical here. I would say this is totally a Cerberus sort of plan.
I definitely, yeah. Especially with lots of things like Cora Harper, and everyone's saying that it's potentially one of Tim's many genetic clones or whatever's.
I hope it's something, some explanation to explain what the hell's going on here. They said Cerberus was not in the game, so
they also said the reason why we're not leaving, the reason why we're leaving is not because of the Reapers. So it's like, unless this is one big ruse of them going, shit, guys, they're on to us, or it's like, well, it's supposed to be a real big secret.
Bunch of aliens want to eat us all up. Let's just leave.
Yeah, saw that.
See, that's practical. That makes sense. Like, oh, big bad guys we can never defeat. Let's just take off. All right, good. Of course, it would be really funny if they're also in that galaxy too, because billions of years. They can do whatever. Like, oh, we're gonna go travel over to that galaxy, which is basically a pond away. That'll take us what, 200, 300 years? Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. All right. No problem. We'll build a mass relay over there and see you in a few hours. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot that like the Remnant, and like it's like, who are the Remnant? Have you seen some of the apparently as well, they're doing a bit of a Dragon Age Inquisition whereby every planet's going to have like a quote unquote boss battle.
A Dragon Age, well,
it's going to be like a dragon battle, but obviously with some kind of technological theme to it. So
I just find the whole, whenever you say Dragon Age Inquisition, I'm just thinking, what?
I know.
But remember, one of those guys from GameSpot said it feels like a better version of Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm just like, oh my god, don't ever say that. That's not a selling point.
It's Dragon Age with guns.
Oh. Pew, 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 pew. You know what I was hoping Inquisition was? It was kind of like a combination of King Arthur and the Pope. And you were like looking for like secret relics like Excalibur and all these other things, and you would be sitting there and orchestrating your armies, and they'd say, oh, the Lady of the Lake wishes to see you. Like, who's that? This magical creature. Oh, okay, I'll go see her. And, all these amazing things happening, and you had to fight demons from the Fade and some relative, not picking herbs and traversing the countryside and doing all this bullshit with your arm that you don't understand. And something epic and romantic and wonderful like that. So whenever I hear people talk about Dragon Age Inquisitions, oh, it's like one level is as big as Dragon Age Inquisition. You're like, oh god, no. It's even bigger. You don't want that. You don't want giant levels worse than the levels in Inquisition. You don't want that. Even if you have a big ass car that drives really quickly. You want quality. You don't want quantity. So, it's a bit disconcerting to hear these comparisons that people have been saying. I still find the Sims 3 joke the funniest though.
The Sims 3 joke. Never.
Yeah, if the human models look like they come out of the Sims 3, which is an 8-year-old game. I mean, how have they screwed this up that bad? Like, did they start? Maybe they started in their development, like year one, with the humans. They said, "Oh yeah, it looks great," and then like 4 years later, they didn't bother to look at their designs to see whether it's any good. And then when they started releasing those trailers, like November and December, it's like, oh, maybe we should revisit those character models.
Yeah, this is like the pre-alpha model.
It's like, no, we're not going to do that. We have 3 weeks left.
It looks like they got someone's like picture off Facebook and tried to like mold their face.
Yeah, I actually posted a Twitter pic. I think it was on 4chan, where some guy spent like 20, 30 minutes dicking around in Blender or Max or whatever it was, and they made like a better version of Sarah. And whenever you're talking, your avatar pops up. It's like, yep, better than her.
I did that. I was trying to do this is not the face of Mercy thing, but I couldn't. I realized I forgot to add that in on this one from the avatar.
Oh, Laidlaw is the guy who blocked me on Twitter just for. I was talking to him about the kinds of fans he wanted. He just blocked me out of nowhere. I was like, "What? We didn't even start an argument. We were just talking, and he just boom." I'm like, what?
Premature blocking.
What did I do?
I didn't do anything. At least give me a chance.
So yeah, that was pretty much the week. The past 3 days have been pretty busy. I've been releasing. There has been so much content. It's pretty hard to keep up with all the videos and the press releases. So hopefully they'll tone it down next week, so that it makes sense. They're eventually going to have a release trailer, which they do, which are usually very good.
You got 2 cinematic trailers already, haven't they?
Really? Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah.
But that just basically shows off like nothing. Okay, that shows off like a segment as to probably what's happening in Andromeda, as to probably why you're having to save the humans, but that's not explaining why you've gone to Andromeda, obviously.
Yeah, that would be nice. With Mass Effect 2, we knew why we had to do what we were doing. We had to protect humans. They were disappearing, and that was told in several trailers actually. So we knew that. It was clear. I was pretty excited for Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 3, very clear. Reapers have come. You gotta, for some stupid reason, take Earth back because I don't know, Earth. But yeah, we knew what the tagline was. What the hell is the tagline? Does anyone know anyone in the chat? Just tell me, what is the tagline for Mass Effect Andromeda? What's the big call to action? What is the conflict? What is the reason this game exists? Can anyone tell me what we're doing in Mass Effect Andromeda?
Oh,
Anyone?
I'm just waiting. People are going to be like typing away like a parrot.
Stunned silence. I don't know. Space. Well, yeah, but that's a given, right? Ride the. Oh.
When I say you want that? You want that? Oh, yeah. Well,
you know what? That's probably a good enough reason for them to make a game, because they know what their fans want. So, find a new home planet, maybe.
Yeah, if the rest of humanity was actually under like threat, which it isn't under their perceptions. Call of Duty Infinite back. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's. See, I don't mind that aspect. I don't mind the aspect of procreation, because you're going to a new place. It's literally new ground or fertile ground. That's what you do when you get there. You're there to build a colony. That's how you do it. Unless you have like an army of clones ready to go. Yeah, I think that's all it is. Really. It's like, hey, here's some guns. Here's some females.
Sounds like old European exploration.
Are there new females in this unknown land? Yes, let's go.
Can you imagine that they're talking to an alien? It's like, what's that thing between your legs? This is my universal communication device. Let me stick it in you. It's how it works.
Oh, God.
I just have to jiggle it around a little bit to warm it up. You just know something like that's going to come along. And yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
weird.
Why do they build a car for this is an ongoing joke. I think was Bill Burr. I can't remember who came up with it. Why did they build a car to go to the moon? Anyone know? It's so that if there might have been women there, you could impress them. That was the only
Moon
reason.
women.
So what do they do in Mass Effect Andromeda? What do we need a dune buggy in an alien planet to impress all the alien chicks? Why else do you need when we have flying starships? What the hell do you need a car for? What the hell do you need a jetpack for when you can control gravity? What, when you have a spacesuit that can maneuver and like what to impress the chicks? That's pretty much why you have it. And this is the only reason I can think of why they made this game is to bang females and shoot things and to have some reason to do so. Right? I'm hoping I'm wrong. Just someone correct me anytime. It sounds so sad, but this is all I can come up with. We're going to a brand new place, really far away.
What was that? What was that idea I was saying to you a couple of weeks ago of the reason why like they should have set this thing since Bioware's all in for time skips and that kind of thing. They should have set this at like 400 years in the future in the Milky Way, but we actually lost the conflict, and so you're kind of realizing that the people who are still left alive are still kind of like, yeah, the Reapers are now systematically destroying everything, and the only way is that way. In other words, up there to Andromeda.
And you have to build this. You have this big mission to build the spaceship to get there.
Yeah, like that could actually be the backstory as to like almost a Homeworld-esque. Because I love ripping off Homeworld because I think that's a fantastic game. Right. But that could basically be a big giant history of there was a big event of like your people trying to escape to Andromeda, and obviously you wake up in Andromeda and you've got all these old veterans who are just they've been through it all. Much like how people have talked about in like Mass Effect 1, you've got like the First Contact War and all the other things that have preceded in the Rachni Wars. Even though these don't really affect the main storyline, they build up the history of the world that you're actually in.
See, that could make some sense. The problem is the ending, of course, because then you have to explain what happens with the destroy ending. There are no Reapers, right?
Well, basically that's what I said. The ending kind of goes like XCOM 2. Basically, you just lost. You just go, you're lost. That's it.
Whatever I see. So even if Shepard becomes a god, he still has a tyrannical hold on the galaxy.
Well, I was thinking of that. The whole control, destroy, and synthesis ending. Sorry, they don't actually matter. None of those are canon. The only real canon ending is the one where you lose, where Shepard just kind of goes, gives the two-finger salute, and then the catalyst goes, no, and throws a hissy fit.
So that then all these veterans build this whatever spaceship, this last ditch effort to get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
you wind up in Andromeda.
The Milky Way's doomed, basically. That's the premise that they've come in. That's the idea that they've come into, and obviously the people who were left over, it's a star system that they refused landing. Thanks for that, and you can sort of say it was a collection of people, and maybe even because the genophage was cured in one. You could sort of say in this canon version, the genophage was cured. That's why the Krogan would want to come along because they're like, we don't want to be blown up as well. It's just something. But the thing is, though, is that they don't want to admit that they made a mistake of Mass Effect 3, and that's what's kind of blowing. That's the shotgun to the kneecap, so to speak.
Okay, you know what? That makes more sense than what we're given. So, I mean, right. if they cannot reveal the motive for going there, it's like saying, well, what's the point of the story? It's to found a new homeworld, but why? Because like they have to say that. They have to tell us or show us in a reveal trailer on the website, why are you doing this? It cannot just be exploration. When you have the known galaxy right next to you, which is unknown. If you want to explore the unknown, it's right there. It's not really stupidly far away. It's right here. And I mean, yeah, explore it. Fine. That is a motive, but it's not a believable motive for where you're exploring. It's like, I want to explore, say you've never been to the stars, but I really, really want to go to Venus. It's like, well, why don't you start with the moon first? It's not too far. It's kind of complicated to get there too. Venus would take a little longer. So you wouldn't just jump to Venus. You wouldn't like, okay, we can totally do this. No. You start small, as you would with any project. And to do this, to theoretically just launch yourself, is bizarre. Why not build a space station really far away from Citadel space? Why not build a colony in I don't know, near Omega or something? That would be challenging. You'd have to deal with all these raiders and all this other stuff, and like that. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into, but you have a greater chance of success than all these unknowns on a hope and a prayer, which may or may not even come to pass, because you could blow up in your process of getting there to Andromeda. So the whole idea is just stupid.
I just love the concept of, like, because with any kind of expedition kind of thing, I mean, it's usually we kind of say, oh, what these explorers and all these kind of places. Yeah, but those were like, that's on a very small scale. You can't exactly compare people going to the Antarctic to this. Who was funding them? Who did they manage to con to fund them? And you can imagine, like, okay, bring us back that space gold. It's like, yeah, okay, see ya. It's like, I don't think they're coming back, guys. Yeah, they're gone. They've taken all our money and run. Like, this is like the biggest con job ever in history.
Yeah. Like, what if this was like, as you say, they're they're gonna go to get away from the damage that was the Milky Way, but they also have a plan to set up a mass relay or build a mass relay when they get there. So if it does calm down or get better, they could always go back. They have a plan to not cut everything off, or have communication with at least some way.
Maybe that's it. Angry Wolves has come up with it now. He's giving the best idea ever. They're going to set up a big, giant mass repulsor to try and stop the Andromeda Galaxy from colliding with the Milky Way.
Well, that's interesting.
Like, that's going to be like the best. That's the Mass Effect. It's a big, giant mass pusher.
Well, think about it, because
that could be a Reaper-inspired idea, actually. Like,
yeah, if the Reapers were actually intelligent, yeah, that would be like, okay, our little playground is going to get destroyed in about, what is it, 10 billion light years or whatever the hell?
Yeah.
Because we know that Andromeda is smashing into the Milky Way, but Andromeda is gigantic. It's huge compared to the Milky Way. So which one would you rather save? You'd rather save Andromeda. There's a lot more resources. It's a lot huger or a lot bigger than the Milky Way. So how would you do that? Well, you move these things out of the way. You sort of slowly try to force one to go one direction, one to go the other direction. I don't know how the hell you do that, because I'm not an intergalactic space god.
Just do a Superman. You just spin around the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Just turn back time.
Well, but think about that. That's a pretty crazy idea. I mean, that's the stuff when you read some of the greats like Asimov or even Greg Egan. His ideas are really far out there, and his series of stories, they do crazy stuff like that. So I'd be like, oh, that is fascinating. That's some pretty crazy science fiction to come up with these ideas and thinking on these galactic, if not intergalactic levels. Then that's worth revealing as the story goes on. But even with that, you still have to have a surface level explanation as to what the hell you're doing. Oh, we're going there to explore is not good enough when you have other avenues to explore. There has to be, like, if it was like, we have to escape the Reapers, done. I'm sold. I understand where you're going, because we know what the Reapers are. It's in the Mass Effect universe. This is before Mass Effect 3. Why not? It makes perfect sense. You want to get the hell out of here. Done. But you have to tell us that. What's wrong with having a reveal of a splinter group of the government, of the Citadel government, saying, no, we believe in Shepard. We're getting the hell out of here. That would have been a totally non-invasive plot story to tell the audience. Say, oh, yes, we acknowledge the Reapers are still alive because we're not in Mass Effect 3 anymore. We're still between Mass Effect 2 and 3. This is why we're going there. Understood. And then and then there'll be like this really edgy sort of trailer where they mask it. Oh, we're gonna make it all about puppies and rainbows and exploration and excitement, and you're gonna get all these bonuses when you're there, and you're gonna found a new, species, or you're gonna be the founders of a whole new colony. Your name's gonna be in history, and da 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 da, and make it really hype it up. But but really, it's about just getting the hell out of here because the Reapers are coming. But on top of that, you slowly reveal that there's, I don't know, some sort of Reaper sleeper agent who wants to just keep the two galaxies from colliding, and he's along for the ride as well because the Reapers are everywhere because they're really insidious and that's just what Reapers do. And well, then of course you'd have to have an intelligent person that would not have been hired for Mass Effect 3 to write the damn thing. So yeah, I know. I'm just looking at the chat right now, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's."
I was thinking of a time travel kind of loop, but one that kind of stacks on top of each other. I'm gonna have to run with this, just to kind of explain it all out, if you don't mind.
Is that it? Is that your idea?
No. I'm just waiting for the AOK because this may go on for a while. I may ramble. Oh no, I'm just going to do a bio and just kind of it's a time travel plot, and then just go there you go, my job's done. But no, the idea is that you're basically part of because Mass Effect always seems to love cycles every month, right? No, and so you're actually every expedition that's actually going is actually built literally built on top of one another, so that something goes wrong and the ship actually goes through some kind of temporal thing. It actually ends up in the past, but you're actually building on top of the bones of the previous people. The previous you has actually come before it, right? So you're actually building up the information before that, so you've got Ryder who came before you, and then obviously they came before that. So basically it's kind of loop, and it's kind of like how a time travel plot would actually done. Probably
I still have to wrap my head around that because when you talk about time travel in science fiction, it's very complicated.
Well, imagine rather than let's say a loop where it curves back in itself, imagine you've got a line, it then does a loop the loop and then continues on. So let's say you're progressing on, and then let's say something happens, then the time goes backwards, but those events that have gone back in time have still actually happened, but then those back events will then affect the next version of you, which then change the future.
I think that's going to be too complicated. It's possible. I just think it's going to be.
I'm just thinking that if you want to do a really complex plot, this idea it's basically been set in motion. The actual, if they really wanted to kind of drop the idea as to why you're going into Andromeda, it's basically just part of a big time loop that's actually that the original missions has basically been lost long ago, and instead someone's just trying to figure out how to get the Andromeda initiative actually surviving this big cataclysm or something. Something that's been in the past for so long. And, I probably have to do a video on it myself just to kind of actually explain it with little pictures and sock puppets and things like that for people. It's like I say, when you're dealing with time travel, you really have to be careful. And because I don't just want to do this whole kind of, you go back, you build up a time machine or anything like that. Because when you do that, then it's just what's the point?
Yeah, I don't know if Mass Effect would lend itself to time travel too well. I know you could talk about how gravity and time dilation and a bunch of other wonderful things that might have caused it. I just don't like the idea of having Mass Effect be about time travel.
Oh no, that's just the thing that basically boots you through the door, really.
Oh, okay. Yeah, even with Greg Egan, he talks about time travel with these pretty much these aliens that have mastered time and space, and they actually went back in time and altered their genetics so they could become smarter. It was this strange, how the hell did this work? And he's the kind of guy who will explain things and use he's a chemist, not a chemist. I think he's a physicist, and he spends a good page, if not the majority of the book, going into theoretical physics, and you're just sitting there like with your brain is just like, what the hell am I reading half the time? And it's really crazy stuff. I think the one I read was Diaspora, and it's part of, like, he wrote them in different orders, this whole series of books that are just they're just killer. They are killer science fiction on a level that, if, even more than Asimov in terms of technicality. And there is time travel in there, so it's, there's holograms that lead lives for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's just crazy stuff, but that's sort of like, even then, but time travel is very simple, very basic. It's nothing complicated.
Yeah, I think people just make it too complicated. But like with me, I prefer like the spiral, like things going around it, the continual loop the loop, rather than just
right. The cycle concepts. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like the cycle, basically the idea of that information is actually being passed down to the next version of you, who will then be fed that information, which then inevitably change the future. So, you're kind of basically going through multiple variations of yourself of trying to solve whatever this problem actually is for the initiative. That's what I was going with, just as a kind of general. I actually just thought of this within like, 2 minutes. So
it's already better. Don't worry. It's already better than what we're given.
Because because there's like one of my most favorite movies is probably like 12 Monkeys.
Okay.
Like the idea of when he's going back in the past and whatnot. I was like, what if, let's say, he then plants information about him, to himself in the past, or where he's going to be, and then that affects the future of when he goes back in time. Obviously, he's still going to fail, but like literally, so you've got basically information from your past selves, and just thought that would be a kind of an interesting. Like,
and you keep going and going and going until you get the right answer.
Yeah, and you're actually part of, basically you're part of the last one that kind of actually solves the problem, but to a varying degree of success.
That would drive people nuts, because they would have to replay the whole game over, and they'd play the first 10% and the next 20% and the next 30%, but they'd have to play from the start every single time.
It would be like, what's the movie now? It was based on an anime called All You Need Is Kill.
Yes, that was a manga.
Yeah. And so, like, literally, that'd be something interesting. If you're the one actually continually going back in time with that'd be kind of cool. Like everything, like the game's leading up towards this big climax.
Yeah, and you have all the skills you've retained. Your physics is exactly the same, but you have all the skills of how to shoot well, and all your stats are like through the roof. So when you started your military training, you were a rookie, and then day 2, you're like a god. You're like, roar.
I was like, who's the new kid? Just like, do. I don't need a helmet.
I am a god. Get out of my way.
Something like that, I think, would be interesting. Like to replay through those things, and then you can have that kind of that detachment. Like if you keep failing, then your humanity actually gets degraded, and the people that you know and love kind of like just evaporates.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. The iterations, the use of resources, it would get repetitive, but because you keep getting stronger and stronger, that it's kind of like cheating.
Yeah,
and and each death is just a way of going back in time and starting again. That would be brilliant, actually. That sounds like a great idea. Anyway, we're just brainstorming here, guys. This is all just us having fun.
Dark Soul Andromeda.
because we have no idea what Andromeda is about, and we're just inventing new science fiction plots. Because
do you want that space gold?
Yeah,
we want to get space gold. That's what it is.
We want to go to Andromeda, get some space gold. So
it's like Ocean's 11, but with like Andromeda. There's a big giant alien casino, and they're just going to try and raid it. So they need like 100,000 people.
Yeah, we have to build it. We have to get our crack team of explorers to explore and find. We have to get a guy who drills. We have to get a guy who can blow stuff up. And I think that's about it. We need a guy who blows stuff up. He just, any problem we come across, he just blows it up.
I just love the idea of like, we're explorers and whatnot. That's why we've got underbarrel grenade launchers on a pistol. We can shoot lightning out of assault rifles. We've got personalized flamethrowers.
I want to talk about that grenade launcher. if you look at most of the guns, like the pistols in Mass Effect, they have the two barrels.
Yeah, I was always wondering about that. I thought that was just cycling between two barrels so that
I
one
don't
barrel wouldn't overheat.
I don't know why they've had them, but when you saw the zoom in of the Carnifex in the trailer this week, it's like, oh, that's a grenade launcher. You're like, what? When was this?
Yeah.
You just have a spare barrel lying around. Oh, it's just our grenade launcher. Okay, because we know what
Okay.
grenades look like. You throw grenades; they're big. They are
Well,
big
you can get
objects.
like I think someone watched the new reimagined Battlestar Galactica because a lot of the pistols have they have an underbarrel attachment to it.
Okay, all right.
So like because obviously they're facing against Cylons and obviously your standard whatever cartridge that they use and that obviously isn't going to do much to a synthetic Cylon or whatever. So having a high explosive one would actually be kind of is for your sidearm. But then I kind of wondered why didn't they equip it onto the rifles? But nah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this. I remember someone in the comments said, "Well, how about the Scorpion gun? That was a sticky grenade." And I'm thinking, okay,
Oh
true,
yeah.
but that's in Mass Effect 3. And then people are like, "Well, it doesn't mean the guns didn't exist before then." It's like, well, actually, yeah, it does tell us that they didn't exist, even if you retroactively state they did. Uh, you have to do that for every single gun, and the only gun that has a history is the N7 Crusader, and the N7 Crusader exists on Torfin, from whomever the hell those guys were during the one of Shepard's backstories. But that's an N7 gun. Were they all N7s? Like how? Why is that an N7 gun? And the only N7 who's associated with Torfin was Shepard. So did he describe that? Like these are the things I don't like with retcons, even the additive ones. They're sort of tacked on. It's like, oh, by the way, while you were doing that thing 2 years ago, there was also this guy next to you who was very quiet and he was on board with you on the Cerberus ship and he was doing all these things. It's like, what? How? When? Who is this guy? How did he get there? What
He's
was
the
he doing?
chef.
Yeah, it was like the chef or whoever. It's just like, no, you can't just start telling a story on top of another story. Just tell a brand new story. Have it have nothing to do with whatever was going on and make it interesting. Tie it in some other way. Just don't retroactively change things. You're not doing yourself any kind of help, or you're not being witty. You're not being clever. You're being boring because you can't think of a new idea, and you're scared. I think to not
It's
to just invent your own idea. It's strange. Why people are trying to defend this in the chat, or not in the chat, the comments. And I'm just like, dude, it doesn't work. Like you can't just invent guns that happen to be in Mass Effect 3.
yeah, it's like in the Mass Effect 3 when you speak about the complete unoriginality of it all. It's like you have is it Taylor who's your comms officer? I forgot her name,
Um,
Samantha Taylor or something like that. Something like
Samantha,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and then of course you've got Steve, and it's like both of those people are on the horizon. I'm just half tempted just Shepard to kind of do a space force moment. It's like, okay, who wasn't on horizon at this point? Because Jesus Christ, all you Mother Hubbards just seem to be coming out of the war. It's all convenient that you guys were here. I mean, like, goodness sake, you couldn't have like an original backstory. It's like, oh, I was there when the collectors were. No, you weren't. You would have been taken up, you lunatic. Like, and then you got the Steve husband, or his husband is like the most elongated thing. Like, was he saying this when he was paralyzed on the floor? I'm just going to be here for quite some time now, so I might as well do this long-winded. I can't hit the stop record button because I'm paralyzed.
Oh, that was probably the greatest soap opera scene. Well, not the greatest. There's a pretty soapy, melodramatic scenes in Mass Effect throughout the series, but that one was like, oh, that was cringy. Like, oh, geez, come on, just let the guy go, man. Come on. And of course, it has to be at a Wailing Wall or whatever the hell the memory board is, where you put all
That's
the
ripped off from Battlestar Galactica, that is as well, which is a reminiscent of the 9/11 attacks, where people say,
I get that. I totally understand that. But this thing happened before
yeah,
all this crap with the Reapers started. So it's like, didn't you mourn beforehand? Didn't this go through your psyche, before you did whatever you had to do. Like, let it go. Oh no, I gotta get boned first before I let someone go. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, got to bone Steve so he opens up to you. Like, thanks.
Why do you think the Omni tool makes those random shapes now?
They're not all swords.
This one we call the pounder.
It's really not a hologram anymore.
I know, it's what we call hardline.
This is a hard sci-fi story.
Oh dear, it's like we're entering to Rule 34 now, aren't we?
Oh dear.
Oh,
That was another comment. People were saying, "Oh, this is not a hard science fiction story." Well, you know what? It started that way. They do not have a giant thing called the Codex explaining every little detail. If it wasn't for the sake of making you think what was going on, had some thought behind it, and had some science fiction behind it. It's like, well, you don't have to explain how the guns work now that they have ammo. Yes, you goddamn well do. Yes, if you start that way, you have to end that way. You don't just say, okay, now this is going to be a Devil May Cry clone, but we're going to do it in space. And instead of like, devils, we're going to be like space aliens who can control gravity really well. It's like, no, just work with what you were started with. I'm getting kind of tired of all these people trying to defend broken lore with whatever nonsense, like not even headcanon anymore. Just like, oh yeah, well, gameplay is more important. Sure, if you're talking about gameplay, great. Yeah, that's your argument. We're not talking about gameplay. We're talking about the existence of these guns, how they came about, why we have lightning cartridges in a shotgun.
Like, do you people know what a laser is? It's like the only time that we've seen a laser mounted is mounted on like a starship. I doubt that you can miniaturize it into a personalized form, because if not, the Gaff would have done that ages ago and not had the purpose of actually developing heat sinks. Yeah, I'm just completely.
If your shotgun wasn't strong enough, we're going to put lasers in it. It's like a Dr. Evil sort of idea. It's like, oh, just put lasers in it. It's going to be better. It's like, it's a shotgun. It's one of the most powerful guns you've got. What more do you want? You aim and fire at close range. It's gone. I don't know. It's. I don't mind that they have upgrades. I don't care that they have lasers coming out of upgrades. It's the way they do it. It's the way they present it. If you are cocking back or cocking forward a gun's barrel, and this is like that middle part of the barrel. This is not like the bottom part where you would, like open up where you open up a double barrel shotgun. And you put in the cartridges there. This is somewhere in the middle of the barrel, and it pops all these. I don't know where these shells come from. I don't know how they go down back to the base of the barrel, and how does that work with light? I don't know. Is it an emitter? Is it a crystal? I have no idea.
It's like you got that one shotgun that was used in the 4K trailer. It's like got that big drum magazine on top of it. It's like, what? I'm just like, okay, if this was like individual heat sinks to which the thing was then cycling from, I'd be like, okay, your thing's cooling down or whatever. But like, the fact that you guys like reloading and the things that these heat sinks aren't, it's like, are they heat sinks anymore now because they're not glowing hot? They're more like mercury silver kind of.
Yeah, I saw the in the combat or the gun trailer, it looked like green smoke. That when the guy was firing his assault rifle, he popped the whatever cartridge, and this green particle smoke came out of it. And I was like, what the hell is that? Are they using a new different kind of propellant? Like what? Why? How? Like what was wrong with everything else you've used before? You have all these solutions for guns. Yeah, we're gonna use alien gas or green smoke thing. It's getting silly. People won't care though, because again, gameplay is king. Fine, it's game. Great. Shoot, pew pew. That guy you're talking to has an ugly face. We won't bang. Okay, what?
But yeah, like the things that I don't understand is like we need a laser weapon and whatnot. It's like, didn't our weapons originally go at the speed of light anyway?
Close. They did not go as fast.
Yeah,
If they did, they would break. They would they would cause ridiculous eruptions of nuclear proportion
yeah,
if they hit it.
but like, they were pretty much operating at like a ridiculous level of speed, and
Well, that was the what the cane did. The cane was just a really fast projectile, and it impacted.
nukes.
So yeah, it was basically like a nuke, even though it wasn't. So how fast can you go? Let's find out. Make this really awesome railgun, which is basically what a sniper rifle should be, as far as I understand them, and just make it really fast. Film little sand grain size, no problem. Increase the sand grain by 3 points. That thing would rip through anything. It would just like explode. It would just.
Actually, that was something you could do on ME1. I'm actually playing for it again now, and you set
Yeah.
explosive on the sniper rifle, and you just see Geff go whoop, 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 and they just fly everywhere.
That was amazing because once you put that on any gun, the overheating just goes to max. So you may as well just whip it on your strongest gun.
It's a light anti-tank weapon at that
It
point.
is a cannon. You just like kablam. That was the cool. As soon as you got those final upgrades, the heat sinks for your assault rifle, and yeah, the mods on your sniper. It was just like
high caliber barrel with high explosive ammunition. Just like
it was just boom. Geth Prime just went flying. Yeah, it was awesome. Like that. That's what they should have done with Mass Effect. They went to that level, and then they just should have amped it up. Amped it up. Can you imagine a grenade or a gravity bomb? Just
yeah,
boom! Everyone just goes flying like pins. Like that would have been cool. Instead, we have like the singularity thing where everyone sort of slows down and gets trapped, and it's like, here I have this gun that could launch you into orbit. Like, make biotics cool, great, do that. They're really OP. But see this gun over here? I could like tear through that wall and the 20 walls behind it. That's what I want.
What they could do is, because since they're using frostbite, they could have like destruction terrain. So if, let's say, an enemy's like really super duper powerful shields, you hit it with like this really high explosive based weapon, and then like the entire terrain just gets like blown underneath it, but it's still just standing there. It's got this crater where it's standing. It's like, oh shit. That would be an amazing moment to do a boss fight.
But then they would have guns that are really, really slow. Yeah, so you'd have these really super ridiculously powerful guns that don't work on shields, but everything else around it. And then you have these really slow guns, or simpler, like, I don't know, a crossbow, or I don't know, something like that, that would launch like a slow grenade. And then they would get past the shields, and then they would blow up, or whatever they would do. Or a bullet that would start drilling, or something, like something intricate. Like there'd be all these degrees of ammo, not ammo power. Ammo powers are still pretty stupid. Yeah. But then you still have to ask, where the hell are they in Andromeda? They didn't mention anything about ammo powers.
They're using the same system for Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, whereby you have like you equip it on to your finger like an activatable ability, but you have a certain number of activatables. I'm not sure how long these things will actually last for, X amount of shots from it, or that's still, I don't really know what they're doing with that, but it is very much ME3 multiplayer based.
Oh, okay. I only played multiplayer since the demo in Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, so you equip armor piercing or armor penetrating rounds or something like that, then that will then last for, I'm just pulling this straight out of my bum, by the way, I don't actually know, but that could, let's say, last you 200 shots or something.
Right.
I don't know. They've got like a little counter on it. It says 5. That basically means 5 uses, but there's not really much information really there, unfortunately, about it all. They can't say for the entire duration, because if you play non-stop, does that mean that you just continually keep having it? Or does it mean, like, for example, when you're doing Dragon Age Inquisition, whereby every time you go back to your camp, it resets everything, whatever abilities and things that you've had. I don't know.
Well, any comment about Dragon Age Inquisition to make Andromeda sound good? Oh, this is not the thing you want to do. to hype up your game. It's just, and of course, the people who worked on Inquisition were working on Andromeda, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, I guess if they have a good producer, they know what they're doing, and it's like, oh, maybe.
Who is producing this game actually?
I don't. There's like 3 producers. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
because that's the thing where I was, when we were talking about the whole, like, apparently if they've been working on this game for 5 years or whatever, and we're 1 month away from release, we haven't actually seen any seamless gameplay from it all. It's either this is going to be like one big reveal upon whereby BioWare kind of goes, haha, or this has gone through like just developmental hell, like no one knows because of people leaving, and so the quality's up and down, and
maybe,
Again,
like we have to look at other games that were released previously, like Final Fantasy 15. I don't know too much about that game. I don't know how great it is, but it had like what 10 years or so behind it.
It was originally going to be a PS2 game, so it's more like 15 years.
Jesus.
Yeah,
that is definitely Final Fantasy 15. Holy crap. Yeah, so, but people liked it.
15 years.
Yeah. I mean, you just put the number of years it's going to take on the end of Mass Effect 7. It's not really in the series. It just took 7 years. Yeah. So, no. It could be a colossal flop or could be a mediocre fan favorite. We don't know.
Yeah, I think as far as I'm concerned, it'd probably just be like the combat looks all right, for what they showcased off. Although with BioWare, they always tend to like change things out. But the last bit, like what they did with Mass Effect 2, it's like, did you say that it was in some interview where like the lead game designer said that crouching was too easy?
That was Mass Effect 2. You're right.
Yeah.
That was they changed at the last minute because it was too game breaking. It was because they used the cover system, right? Because that was the big thing in Mass Effect 2. And as soon as you crouch, you get the benefits of cover, and you get the benefits of being able to aim and shoot while in cover. So you're not like snapping and popping out all the time. You're just constantly shielded while firing. And it's like, yeah, that's good. You're supposed to find those spots.
Yeah, that's what soldiers do. They have it's called a firing position, you moron. You pick it and then you fire at it. You don't. No soldier kind of goes, I'm gonna sorry, for fairness sake, I'm gonna have to just do that. There we go.
I'm gonna pop out every so often so you can shoot me while I shoot you. It's like, no.
Sorry, someone also brought the thing ages ago about the AI in Andromeda. It hasn't actually improved since like Mass Effect 1.
Oh, really?
Well, you look at the gameplay demo. I know I kind of did a bit of a piss take on it, but I've got to include this in my video. But when you see, like, they talk about, we have the enemy, Matt Waltz is going like, we have different enemy types. Some will snipe you from behind and some will charge you to try and flush out cover. And yet in the video itself, you've got a guy called a sharpshooter running towards you in the middle of the open. It's like, did this guy run out of ammunition? Just go, sod it, I'm going to fix a bayonet and then check out the balls on this dude.
Well, that's really nothing new. I mean, you have all kinds of enemy types, even in the multiplayer, that would charge you or would stay behind cover. So what do you do? Right?
When a guy called a sharpshooter is charging you, it's like, I think someone got the wires a bit crossed there, But yeah, that's just your Billy Bait. I mean, this is even since the days of like Halo Combat Evolved, whereby you've got your sharpshooter, you've got your grunt, then you've got your elite. You got and even then, actually, Combat Evolved actually had a lot more variant types, to be fair to it. Had like 5 types, or maybe even 6. But this is like, they haven't really evolved the AI, because with Mass Effect 1, you could kind of forgive it because the first person shooter, here's me, silly me. Like the combat changed from Mass Effect 1 from that kind of auto lock-on, very hard lock-on system to a more manual one that they have today. And they did that in the space of like just under a year. They redesigned the entire combat system of how you
that was all Unreal. So this is, again, we're using the Battlefield 4 kind of engine here. So what I was thinking exactly was, if they did this in Dragon Age Inquisition, was trees and vehicles. Now trees, my God, there's a space tree called, what is the Scourge or whatever the hell that thing is called. There's trees on every planet or almost every planet. So that's fine. You got all this wonderful looking alien worlds. But vehicles, that's kind of the thing that Battlefield's been known for. And if you can do a tank with high-powered engine, what other vehicles are there? And why aren't there vehicles? So
right.
if they didn't give this tank a gun, then they wouldn't have made vehicles at all with other guns. Now, they might do that in multiplayer, who knows? But I think they shied away from that, or they're going to have this ridiculous reveal. But I think they would have. I think they would have showcased that by now if they had other vehicles. So
yeah, I think they're just sticking with the one.
yeah,
Because I think that's just like, imagine having like, you know, a shuttlecraft of Mako, or not Mako, it's Nomad, isn't it? And to me, like, they should have done that in multiple ways. Like, you know, okay, this mission you'll have to use a shuttle, and yeah, okay, then you can go off and explore in your rover because it's cheaper or something like that. You know, something like that I'd be absolutely okay with. That's just me personally speaking. So, um, though, if it was a space horse, really, that'd be amazing. If it was like the horse out of Skyrim, he just like climbs up vertical cliffs.
that would make sense with the Mako, yeah. But the other thing with the engine, what it can do, is destroyable objects or destroyable buildings or whatever. There's other things like networked multiplayer, like waves and all that crap. That's fine too. But yeah, destroyable objects. Why not? You have these ridiculously strong guns. They should be able to rip apart a bulkhead within seconds. So why not? But you know, that might be too complicated. Might be too much of a resource hog. And the way that the reporters were talking about the glitches, crashes, like, was that because of gameplay or was it just because of dialogue? Was it because of resources not being loaded? Lack of optimization? We don't know. They weren't obviously technical enough to answer those questions or even know what the hell was going on. The game just crashed. So nice to know, but until you get multiplayer running up, and because there were lots of glitches in multiplayer, but this was during the demo. So and those glitches still happened. Like, you would get stuck up in the air. I was like, Vanguard is probably the most famous one, where you get stuck at the top of the map near the skybox and you can't fall. So you're trying to like get a lock so you can Vanguard charge back down. It doesn't work, you're too far. So I'm sure they will have glitches like that, but who knows how bad they are if they're already reporting. See, this is the brilliant idea behind having a free beta or a free demo. You do all your bug testing before release. This is what they did in Mass Effect 3. It worked great. Everyone got to try the game. Everyone got a taste for multiplayer. Fun gameplay. I have to give it to Mass Effect 3 for being fun. Shooting was good. I have no idea what the hell Andromeda is going to be like multiplayer. I think we saw Krogan slam the ground once.
Yeah, I think that's very. I think it's just going to be similar to Mass Effect 3, obviously with a bit larger areas because the Frostbite can do that. Although one thing a lot of people tend to miss out as well is that Frostbite can also do bullet penetration of objects, so you can have like surface levels of, you know, that would be interesting as well. Like, you know, you got guys behind cover and you just kind of go with a sniper rifle, nah, and you're just shooting through a wall. I think you could do that in ME3's multiplayer as well. There's certain abilities that you could do that allows you to shoot through solid objects.
Well, I didn't like the fact that they took the guns from Mass Effect 2 that were special to you and they made them universal. So the Widow is now the Black Widow or whatever. It could be fired by anyone. It has 3 shots instead of 1. You know, things like that. The Krogan shotgun, anyone can use it. It's like, okay, I guess so. Everything which was special is now rendered for everyone, which I guess is fine. I guess there could be customization. I would have preferred if it was dumbed down, like the same way they dumbed down the Sovereign's gun, the Phoenix
cannon.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's not as strong, but we could put it on all these other ships, which makes us crazy strong. We could blow holes in Reaper vessels, no problem now. So a gun or a hammer that's only suited for Krogans. What makes it suited for humans now? Like, there has to be a reason. What's the
Mass Effect generator in there? Like, you activate it, it lightens up, and then when you deactivate it, it basically comes slamming down. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be dirty.
That would be nice.
But yeah, it'd be interesting.
Put your jetpack on the end of your hammer and just slam things with it. That'd be cool.
Or you just get a really hard helmet and then you just charge into people head first with jetpack.
That's my one concern. It's always been a concern for me. When I saw Vanguard, I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. And then when I played Vanguard, I'm like, that did not much.
You
I,
just need a
I
skateboard, dude. Just like
I could body check this guy harder than that. Like it was kind of like boink.
it's like, ah, you hurt me. It's like,
You
oh great, I'm now in the middle of like 12 enemies. Like,
you bumped into me. What you do?
who throws a person?
Like I wanted this guy to go flying. I wanted like my shoulder to go right through his chest. Like wham. Like nope. You just boop, and then you just shotgun him in the head. But yeah, I was expecting like when you hear the description of what push and lifts can do. It's like launching a bowling ball at like 700 miles per hour or something stupid, which sounds pretty damn dangerous. So yeah, not quite the same impact I was hoping for.
I think that's when they changed it with was it the Nova ability where you could actually sacrifice your biotic barrier because apparently since Mass Effect 2 they um, biotics can't have kinetic barriers and things like that, and that you could like sacrifice your shield to like give it away. It's like no, have that on top of like if let's say you have barrier activated, then you can release it or something like that. So you can like do a wombo combo. That'd be cool.
It's not
Like
a bad idea because it goes with the same mentality of what a Vanguard is, which is high risk, high reward. You're going to do this move to hit everyone around you, and as soon as you do the move, you would go back into your charge just to replenish your shields. That was the basic idea, I think. It would be like a finisher anyway, unless you wanted to pop a guy up in the air and then hope your guys got them while they were in the air. Not the same way lift would work though, because lift would be like, whoop, he's in the air. Do do
I think if they did
do.
Vanguard charge, I think it would, I don't know, just from my personal thing, whereby you'd Vanguard charge them, but then you got like an instant recall, so you basically hit someone, and you just go whoa, straight back. You just go backwards. Like you just got like a big bungee cord attached to it. You know?
Boink, bling. You
Hello,
go flying.
boom. That would be. I know that would be broken, but since we're just breaking everything, we might as well just go for it.
Well, yeah, if you got a freaking jetpack, someone was obviously watching Yahtzee when he was rambling on about how he didn't like certain aspects of Mass Effect, and it's like, oh well, I guess we're gonna have a jetpack in the new game because that's what they want. They must have listened to like every single critique uh, throughout the years. Said, okay, this is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. And, and let's just smash it all together.
Oh, that's what they did with Inquisition, wasn't it? It's like, no, no, no. This is the problems that we have with Dragon Age 2. Well, we're going to build in even bigger maps. It's going to be massive. It's like, no, we don't want, you're not listening. It's like the same thing with Mass Effect 1. It's like people go, we didn't like the Mako. And then they go, okay, you didn't like the Mako. We're going to get rid of it. No, 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 no. We just want it handling better. No, too late. It's gone.
No, we're going to give you a hover tank. It's like, we
Well,
don't
that's the
want a hover tank.
well, that's the thing, though, right? The Hammerhead, as derpy as it was in terms of lore and stuff, it's like they got this vehicle. It improved everything that we hated about the controlling, the handling of the Mako. It's like, okay, you're gonna have this thing, and you're gonna use it for free missions, and that's all. That is a slap in the face. That's like, yeah, we could have added in this game. You could have had vehicle exploration with this brand new type of tank that completely eliminates all the flaws of the previous one, but you're not going to use it.
Well, it was also as strong as tissue paper, so you had to like have these
Yeah.
heat-seeking missiles, and you're like, oh well, I get shot twice, I'm dead. So it's like I want the tank that can go anywhere.
Yeah.
It has nice big guns and is really it's like an APC, and you can roam about.
Yeah.
Like that's why you have a tank. You have a tank to transport guys into. You don't have a tank in this future to to explore hostile terrain. You have shuttlecraft. You go zip and you go down. You go back up and you go back to safety. It's really efficient. Flying. It's really safe up there. There's no one else up there except for you and the clouds. So yeah, we have a really high powered car now. That drills stuff for you when you're not driving it. Because
Yeah, because apparently like, you look at the size of the drilling scenes, it's like, dude, it's just like IKEA level of flat pack. Because literally, like, I'm still trying to get my head around the Nexus. Like, is this thing going to be completed upon arrival? Is it going to be completed while it's there? Because you kind of people need to inform me about this because it's just so, like, please, because you know, if it's going to be completed upon arrival, in other words, it's going to be completed as you get to Andromeda, then that means that all your resources and stuff.
There's no way. There's no way they're gonna be building it while they're traveling. That's
what I
crazy.
mean. But this is the thing about Bio now. This is how much I don't trust them now. Like it's if like you can have engineers flying around at FTL, like trying to like hammer in, like, ah! Like, trying to. I just need to put this one rivet in. Yeah, it's like that's why they need like 100,000 people, because like everyone's going to be flying off out into the great void, you know. But yeah, I just don't. Yeah,
it's kind of strange if they have 20. There's 4 ships with 20,000 each of each species. So it's 80,000 people. Where do they get these other 100,000? Or these other, if it's all 20, then where'd they get these other 20,000? Were they asleep on the Nexus?
I no idea, but I just love the idea of it's like you go and find a new planet for the Turians or whatever. So the Turian arc has to go to the Nexus to then wake everyone up to go on board the Nexus to then go into immigration services to then reboard the arc to go back to the planet. And you're just like, just no, because everyone kind of, oh, but they need to be a central hub and whatnot. It's like, then just everyone land on one planet. There's your central hub. You know, you don't need a space station.
If they wanted to make a spaceport, and the spaceport had like a space elevator,
yeah,
because you're building a colony, so you have to ship stuff down. Not that you would actually need a space elevator because you have Mass Effect technology, but still, fine, whatever. It's docked in orbit, and you're taking resources up and down. You're making it bigger and better, and it's becoming this hub. Great, okay, but this Citadel, like why would you base it off the Citadel? What's the bonus?
Rotate, though.
It's not rotating. What's the point?
Can you imagine? Like the thing is that I love it. It's based off the Citadel. It's not rotating, and there's only one set. Is that thing's going to be spinning around? How is it going to spin?
Like, how can you live in this thing before it's even half done? When it's not even rotating. There's no axis. There's nothing for it to do. There's no counterweight. It's just this thing on a stick, and you're like, what?
And then of course you've got everyone's like jumped at. It's almost like a Stargate level of how they've treated FTL now with like hyperspace levels. Like you can basically make a hyperspace window and everyone goes along with it. It's like, do the 4 arcs combine their powers, you know, and then that transports it? Like, no, because that's not how FTL. When you're in FTL and ships are beside you in FTL, you can't see them. It's like you can't. Not everyone goes into the. No. So to me, I thought the Nexus was supposed to be like every ship basically locks onto like they're all kind of like, and then they propel it. But no, they're all right beside each other, which is very dangerous, by the way, when you're talking about spatial objects and spatial distances. I mean, 1,500 kilometers is awfully close, but this is like licking distance. One false move and then suddenly.
Yeah. There's so many things that we have questions about. We're never going to get these answers. I can guarantee that the details, all the videos that we saw were probably pre-rendered marketing stuff, and they were done at the last.
Especially that sorry one. Which made PB look like a flipping child.
Oh, they show that so many times.
Yeah, like is that the one where you see it kind of smiling, and then that looks like a knife or something?
A gun or knife, yeah, from the side of her head. She's like,
it just kind of goes, oh, it's like that. That's awfully pre-rendered. It's like, yeah, bullshit detector going off massively there.
Yeah,
and yeah, I've seen a few other things as well, like some of the voice actors trailers whereby you see like PB jump on top of Man Rider. That's not going to go. Man Rider. That's no, that's going to go places. Man Rider. That's going to go places where we should.
Rider. Who can he copulate with? Let's find out.
I mean, considering that he's got that. I mean, at least they don't have that douchey hairdo now. That's kind of going around now. But I don't know. But yeah,
the Casey Hudson flick. What do you call that? Yeah.
Desperate coma. I don't know, Casey.
I've just woken from cryo and my hair stays exactly the same sort of look.
Yeah, it's like we can't animate hair. That's how. It's like, I know we've had this technology since the days of Half-Life, but
Didn't they have animated hair in Inquisition?
no, it was very static.
I'm
Like,
trying to think. I can't think of anyone with long hair.
well, considering that Blackwall's beard would clip through everything. I mean, if you romanced him, I mean, that beard is glorious, but my God, it would just clip through everything. It was a solid object. Clothing had physics, but it would like just go like everywhere when you try to move around and stuff. It would like phase through objects. It was like ethereal clothing.
See, I remember seeing demos not only in Unity but even in Unreal of clothing, drapery, and hair of this. I think it was for it was going to be the MMO for the next Vampire Bloodline.
Oh, that's CCP Games, yeah, who were doing that.
Right, and one of the first things they showed was this girl in a dress, and she was going up and down this little platform of stairs. I thought, wow, that was fantastic. I mean, it wasn't amazing or anything. It was just like that. That looks really good. It's just a drapery, and it has its own collision. It hits it, and they did the same thing for her hair. And she was touching her hair, and it was falling on her shoulders. Thinking, great, next gen, perfect. Let's see that. And that was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're still stuck with the Lego plastic haircuts, and we saw that with Sarah when she woke up, and the what's her name generic NPC asking for a tropical homeland. She's like turning her head, and her ponytail is like stuck to the back of her head.
Just imagine like just breaking off because sorry, doctor, I'm not fully defrosted yet. But yeah, we've had like clothing and like there's even basic things like weather effects, clothing and all this kind of thing. We've had this technology for years, like lighting. Like we've never actually come close to the thief level of lighting.
No.
And it just seems to me like the gaming industry, like a lot of the people who are actually progressing that, like actually pushing the boundaries in terms of what computers could actually do, they've either left or it's been that diluted because the gaming industry kind of exploded. So I think everyone jumped on board because they saw it as a money wagon. And so you got all these young people who don't know what they're kind of doing.
Sure, but you're talking about engine technology and cell shaders, or sorry, shader tech. You're talking about the Cry engine back in the day it did lighting amazing. It still does lighting amazing.
Still holds up, yeah.
Yeah, it's still being used, obviously. So we know that lighting in all modern engines is amazing, is great. Now, obviously, it sucks up a lot of resources, real-time effects, and what have you. So yeah, you could use it sparingly, but that's what you do for dramatic reasons. Like I think some of the scenes, which I hope they're not pre-rendered, which were shown in the Natalie Dormer trailer, the scenes were not completely well lit, and that's totally fine. I mean, it's kind of like the effect when you watched, I think the was it the Star Trek Generations movie or one of those screen movies where it looked like someone turned off all the lights in the Enterprise.
Yeah, it looks very like golden-esque.
And like Picard and Guinan were like talking in the dark, and you're just like, what the hell's going on? Someone turn on a goddamn light. You can't. I know you're in space, but come on.
It's just on someone's kind of go, sorry, mate, just changing the bulb.
Yeah, it's like turn on a light. So I like that aspect. It looked like they were on either the station or a sick bay, and she was talking to a male rider, and like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, got some little bit of color and lighting going well. I thought that was cool. If you're in a ship that's of that size, you want to travel light. You don't want to have all your juice burning all the time. Cool. Why not? Look good. So they can do it. Nothing's stopping them from doing it. And I just wish they can go the extra mile. They spent 5 years on this thing to make it look good. And if you start running around and Sarah's hair ponytail's not bobbing left and right, you're like, ah.
Yeah, they've had that even in like older games, and even in one of the MMOs used to play, Dark Age of Camelot, even they had like cloaks that would not necessarily, there wasn't any weather effects that could really affect it, but your cloak would actually move around in time with you and things. And that's like, that's as large as you could ever possibly get. in terms of MMO sizes back in those days, obviously. But
I remember the Jack's loyalty mission in the rain and Mass
yeah,
Effect
that was
2.
like, the way how your armor actually like had that shine to it.
I don't know if there. I think it was a combination of things, but there was no like you were not wet. Like there was no effect.
No, but I mean, it might be in the lighting, but it does kind of. I think they were trying to like fool you into thinking that you were wet, but it did look like you were. Did look like you were wet actually. From I don't know. Maybe or was that because I had the texture pack on it? I don't know. I installed quite a lot of mods with things.
It's possible. I don't remember it being wet at all. So that was just my memory of Mass Effect 2. I always remember that one scene because that's the one time you see rain, and it's only for the intro part where you land on the base and you walk into the door. It's like, oh, rain, cool. That's new.
Yeah, the other time was on the Maker when it lands on Verma. You do actually sort of see the water. I mean, this is a vehicle, not necessarily a person, but you do actually see the water dripping off the Maker itself. So they've had that for quite a while. Maybe for individual people, I think that maybe was a bit too complicated for them. I don't know.
That's the one level where everything's beautiful. Like it's all sunny and bright and green, and there's weird scuttling little critters, and you're running around in the waves, and you could drown. Unfortunately, yeah. Novaria Snow. I don't really remember the Novaria Snow. Actually, I do apologize. Yeah, but I do remember Novaria in general. One of the better. Well, actually, all the levels are really good.
That's one thing that when Mac was talking about the whole like every planet has a story. It's like, what you mean, like Novaria, Theros, Ferrum, Ilium? And it's like all the stuff that you've done before. It's like, well done there, Mac. You're just kind of repeating what we know and do. Will it tie into the main story? That's another question. Like,
well, we can't judge until we know what the main bloody story is. I mean, we saw the map has 7 locations, and you're like, why are there 7 locations? Are we going to explore 7 locations? Is there a reason why we're doing this? We don't know. There's not. We have no info, and they've been releasing so much crap, and we still don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, you can shoot things very well, or you have multiple ways of shooting things. Nope. good gameplay. Okay, fine.
You can set people on fire. Yeah, but about the other things.
How about why we're doing this? Why are we there? Why are we going to these places? Can you tell us why we need to make a habitat? Why we have to choose a male or female? Why one of the daughters or the son is being chosen?
Well, I know once again I'm only just purely speculating, but I think.
Oh yeah, what happened to Space Camp? It must have been done by now, right? Does anyone know? I'm sure what's her name might have posted something by now. That Xbox show.
Oh yeah, Space Camp. Oh, flipping heck, yeah.
I know
that should have been over by now. Actually, that's like a week old.
Yeah, I know they started on Friday last week, so they must have been done on Monday. I wish I knew. I didn't hear anything about it. It's like, great.
I think it's all just posted on their Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, it's like great because Twitter's really going uphill, isn't it, lately? They're stuck. It's like they actually just got 6 YouTubers and just stuck them in space. They just stuck them in a tin can. It's like, okay, lads, we're trimming the herd of the YouTube crowd bit by bit. I like that though. Yeah, 20 minutes on a vomit comment. Like, okay, oh, was it 2 minutes that they can do?
It's like 20 to 40 seconds, I think, on a descent, and then they have to go back up and down, up and down. So that's if you didn't like turbulence in your normal flights, there's a good chance you'd probably get sick very quickly.
I just love it though. I just love the kind of how people kind of sort of remain like, oh, but these people going to completely remain objective. Imagine Bauer going, hey, remember that trip that we took you to Space Camp? And it's like the kind of dad that never actually bothered to show up, but he bought you a baseball glove one day, you know? It's like, hey, remember I bought you that baseball glove? That's why you should love me. It's like, no, go away, you freak.
I'm still not sure why they did that. I don't understand.
People are saying that it's shills, and I'm pretty much inclined to agree with them. It's just them trying to, because they think that the YouTube market is still like, because once again, the old guard of the journalism and whatnot are still very much in the low end spectrum of popular opinion and what have you. Especially after Mass Effect 3, when they all defended it. It's like, yeah, that was a bit of a downside for them. And so I think they're trying to jump on with the YouTubers who apparently have more credibility, but these are 6 people which I don't know. It's like, I
All
don't
from the
watch
UK,
them.
you're right. Yeah, a bunch
Yeah,
of European
yeah,
dudes.
it's
Well,
like,
there's 2 from the UK actually. Yeah.
yeah, it's like one German, one Polish,
Yes.
one French guy.
One Spanish.
Uh,
Yeah.
there's one Spanish, yeah, and like, yeah, okay, like,
All very popular, like millions of subscribers. So they
uh,
obviously got the right people
I wouldn't
to.
say millions. I think like they were all under the 100,000 mark, except for probably Xbox. It's actually the outside Xbox, which is like 1.6, but
They're
that's like 7
definitely
people.
they're definitely in the millions. I did a video on that,
I
and
did it.
yeah, I think the smallest one was the guy from Poland. He was like a sci-fun or something like that.
Ah, right.
And
But I never heard of them. It's like,
no, well, obviously we don't. I don't know any of these foreign YouTubers, so I can't say. But obviously they were targeting Europe, and I
yeah,
guess they're trying to break into Europe with this.
Mass Effect's been quite popular in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, it, it's like, yeah, it's actually done reasonably well here. I mean, it's very popular in Britain. I mean, the sales have been reasonably good. You know,
See, if they had Kate Upton on the Andromeda Initiative, then I'd turn my head. I'd be like, wait a second, what's up with that? Because there's so many stupid celebrities doing all these mobile games. I swear, if there's another First Strike commercial with Arnold, I'm gonna cry. I can't watch any more of those. But if you put Kate Upton or you model her or whatever, and you put her on one of your missions, then people will be like, whoa. Like, can you imagine if Miranda Lawson was recruiting for the initiative?
that'd be interesting.
They'd be like, whoa, who is this chick? Who's the poster boy for that or a poster girl for this? What is this? I want to know what this is. Um, and she's like, I want the best of the best. And you're like, holy shit, I gotta get in shape. I gotta, you know, finish my degree, whatever. Then there's some reason to go. It's not the good reason, but it's a reason. Um, give us a reason to go there. Motivate us. Get us interested. Don't just give us a girl in a blank spacesuit on the holodeck on the moon talking about how cool it's going to be. You're like, what? No, I don't care.
Hi, I know I've
Sell
been
it to me.
doing this in an office, but I just decided to take a walk out in the moon for no apparent reason. Okay. Why? It's like, you know what would have been really funny if they did a parody of that and you actually see the teleprompter reflected in a visor? Like, that would be funny.
Well, the funny thing is that the assumption was that she was talking to you while you were on the moon, but you see in the reflection of her visor, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So it's like, is she speaking to someone? Is this a hallucination? Is she a hologram? Like, it was
Well,
very strange.
that's why Big Man Rider. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm thinking about Big
Big
Man.
Man Rider is gonna take you to somewhere you've never been before.
I think that's why Big Man Rider, he's like kind of going, what you doing? Who you talking to?
Lady, right over here.
It's like, we need to go. Yeah, it's like things over there. Yeah, the meeting's over there.
It's like, what? There's why are you walking into the sand there? There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Stop pointing at the sand. There's nothing.
Why did you take the lunar module from Earth and put it here, you crazy woman?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
anyway, I think we've gone long enough, guys. We do
Yes.
appreciate you hanging on
We're
here.
gonna go into the innuendos, aren't we? A bit too
Yeah,
much.
this is degrading into
Big Man Rider.
what pretty much any conversation degrades into, especially when you're talking about Mass Effect, because that's what Mass Effect is anyway. It's a bunch of people trying to cover their urges with science fiction guns that make no sense, and driving around in cars that don't have guns. Because
Or explorers. It's like what we do is that we're kind of like gangs in the hood. It's like we don't actually have guns on top of the things, but as soon as you piss us off, we're gonna set you on fire, motherfucker.
We're gonna hop out of our heavily armored vehicle and
Hey,
walk out.
bitch, what you say about my ride?
I just colored mine yellow.
Yeah, check out these rims, they're spinning.
I got a booster pack. Look at me fly.
I think maybe that's it. They're all just like trying to remove themselves from like child services or something. Like they want to pay.
We have to get to a new galaxy to escape our tragic past of procreation. So we have to do it elsewhere. So we can keep repeating the same mistakes.
We don't have like child support services down breathing down your neck anymore.
Well, they'd have to invent it, because if you're going to be procreating a new place, I mean.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's like, are these 20,000 colonists like, are they normal colonists, or are they like experts in like farming? And there's a lot of things that you need to have.
They'd have to have some sort of well, they wouldn't technically need to have some sort of weird not a lottery, but like this, okay, you're genetically good to this kind of group of people, we're going to set you over here. There's some sort of eugenics programs going. I wouldn't say they would do that. They wouldn't have to, but
I think they've just got like a wheel of morality, and they can go, we need zoom, zoom farmers. And I think that's what they're doing. Because if we get a bunch of random people, it's like, yeah, someone's obviously just kind of like done like Cards of Humanity, like Cards Against Humanity. It's like,
oh yeah, that's another thing. If another news item this week.
Oh yeah,
Mass Effect and Cards of Humanity, or Cards Against Humanity. Yay! More crap for you to buy. Can't wait to talk about all my dirty little secrets. And
popping the heat sink.
Popping heat sinks with Garrus. Okay. Yeah, this is going.
We're going to divulge into madness here if we keep going.
They're going to be mugs and T-shirts and hats and shoes, and
Socks.
everyone's going to get their stupid hoodie. And even though Shepard's no longer a thing, you're still going to have a stupid red stripe over your bloody arm. Yeah.
Big Man Rider underpants.
Yeah, of course, Ryder gets the red stripe because he's an N7. Man, is he a commander? What the hell is he? A captain?
Older Rider?
Yeah, he's an N7. He's got the red stripe, right? Does he have the red stripe?
Yeah, he does. You see him in some of the videos. Yeah, he's got the N7 logo on. Because
Okay.
everyone who's special forces and whatnot clearly displays that they're special forces towards to friends and the enemy. It's a big signifier.
Put N7 on my guns because they're cherry. You kind of show them off.
N7 paraphernalia. It's like yogurt off Spaceballs.
Yeah.
That's what Ryder's basically become. He's just peddling like crap. It's N7 the flamethrower. N7 the doll.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for your time. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.